Welcome to the Chaos and Carry-Ons podcast with your two favorite hosts, Stephanie.
And Shelby.
Chaos and carry-ons, let's go. Disney dreams in tow, you know. Every flight and every ride. Join the journey, come inside.
So today we're going to talk about our favorite Disney World resorts. And this is going to be hard for me.
We're going to rank. Are we doing top three? Is that what we decided?
Yes.
I mean, I feel like we can both agree. I was going to say let's do top three and bottom one. We're both agreeing that like all the value resorts, a collective value resort is the bottom one. So we'll just not even do bottom.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll get to it when we start ranking them, but I was having a hard time with my third spot because there is a moderate resort that I feel very much is like a deluxe. So I'm thinking that I might put that as my third one because I think it might deserve that spot.
Well, I'm going to do top three with an honorable mention for a moderate
Okay. Okay.
because all of the deluxes that I've stayed in so far, I mean, I could rank them in order of like most favorite to least favorite. All the deluxes would win, like, and as far as the favorite category, I wouldn't
Hmm.
choose a moderate over a deluxe any day. But I'm going to give an honorable mention to one of the moderates that's our favorite, and I'll tell you why later. But,
Okay.
anyways, that's what we have going on today.
I wanted Shelby to start with saying all the places that she had stayed, but she said it would be easier to tell you all the places that she has not stayed.
We wanted to knock them all off. So every time we go, we try to at least do like one night at one that we haven't done yet. So that's why my list is as long as it is.
She she's an overachiever, but I did not realize that you had stayed at all of the value resorts because the only value resorts that we have stayed at, I think, is one of the All-Stars, and I can't even remember which one, so it wasn't memorable. We've stayed at Pop Century and we've stayed at the Art of Animation.
We've stayed at all three All Stars, Pop, and Art of Animation. I've done the Little Mermaid at Art of Animation as well as the Family Suite.
Yeah, we have two.
Um, and then we took our camper down in 2023. So I finally got to knock out the campsites, which I have done a cabin before they remodeled them. We're planning to do like the new DVC cabins, but we had already done the cabin, but in 2023 we took our camper, so we did the campsites.
Hmm.
We finally knocked off Coronado Springs. Um, was that last year or the year before? We just stayed there one night and Port Orleans. We've done both Port Orleans, Caribbean Beach. So the three deluxe that we have not done yet are Old Key West, Boardwalk, and Riviera. Um, but by the time this airs, two of those will be off my list because we have a trip coming up and we are doing a split stay before our Disney cruise. And we're doing one night at Boardwalk and one night at Riviera. So Old Key West will be the last one on my list.
I think I was thinking about that, like what's my next one that I want to check off? I think I'm leaning towards Riviera. I know I've told Shelby that many, many times, but I just don't know if I could stay there for an extended stay. But Shelby knows that part of my ranking is the pool. That will be
Yes.
very obvious when we go through
Mhm.
this list.
Yeah. I want to let you start because I knew this episode was coming and I've kind of given thought to it, but I really need to nail down my top three. So I'm going to let you start while I sit here and on the fly think of my top three resorts.
Okay, so do you want to start with number three or you want to start at the top?
Let's start at the bottom.
Okay. So I think I'm really going to go with number three as Coronado Springs for me.
Are you
I
serious?
I feel like to me that is a deluxe resort-esque feel for a lot lower pay.
You are correct on that.
And I love the pool there. I like how you don't feel on top of each other there too. People complain that it's very spread out. I just love the vibe there. Now, again, you'll kind of see through this list. That's a big thing for me. It comes down to, how it's themed. What I'm even going to say what they're playing. When you're walking through like their garden areas, I don't know. There's just something special about a Disney resort when, they're playing that music. And at Coronado Springs, it's, Hispanic, Spanish type music. And I just feel like it's very, I'm going to say upscale, especially since they've built that tower. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's an amazing deal to me. That's what I always tell people. If you want that deluxe feel, I would put it as being equal or better than Saratoga Springs.
Oh,
And that's a deluxe
absolutely.
resort.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think I agree with that.
So that may not be my go-to, and it's not because it's not, I like to use my points there, it's not cost beneficial. But if I was paying cash, that's one that I always look at
Hmm.
when I'm going to pay cash.
Okay.
So
So
do you,
I feel like I definitely know your number one. You threw me for a loop with Coronado Springs. However, when you said that about the music, it hit me like, duh, she picked that. She's Mexican, of course. Of course she's picking that.
I
But
just think it's a very pretty resort. I
I
think it's the
really,
underdog.
well, we stayed for the first time, we stayed one night and we checked in. When you check in, you're in the tower. So that definitely to me, it felt a lot like the Riviera lobby area. I don't know if you feel that way
It
too.
does. It
That's
does.
like very similar to Riviera. But our room was like the standard, it was like the bottom of the barrel. We had to walk so far. And we flew down the time that we stayed there. I feel like this maybe was when we went last year in June for Father's
Hmm.
Day. We stayed one night there. I'm pretty sure it was that trip, but we flew, our plane landed late. It was like midnight when we're checking in. We had ridden the bus from the airport to the resort, and we had to walk so far. Now, maybe it felt far to me because, like we said in the last episode, um, I had just recovered or had just finished chemo. So maybe that's why it felt so far to me. But if you don't have a preferred room or a room in the tower, it is so far to walk.
It is. I will give her that. Aside from that, there's not a lot of cons that I can find about that resort. When people ask me, when they come to me to try to price, and they want a moderate resort, I always try to push Coronado Springs or Caribbean Beach. Those are my two go-tos because I don't think you send a lot of people there and they're disappointed.
Hmm.
So do
Okay.
you want to go with your third or you want me to go into the second?
I'll go ahead and go with my third.
Okay.
And I think you're going to gasp when I say this because I'm pretty sure my third is going to be your number one, but I don't know. We haven't we haven't discussed this prior, so I have no idea what
Okay.
Steph's are. She doesn't know what mine are. So for number three for me, I'm going with the Polynesian.
That is that is just
I'm
that
going to tell
it
you
seems like
why.
an abomination.
I know. I knew you would feel this way because, like I said, I'm pretty sure that's going to be your number one. I don't know. I don't know what your number one's going to be, but I want to tell you why it's number three for me. Now, okay, how many resorts are there on Disney property? Do you know a number right off? Like
I don't.
18, 20, 22. There's a lot, okay? So for
Hmm.
this to be number three, that's still really good. Okay, we love the Poly. Now, Jordan would probably put Poly at number two, I would guess, in his ranking. He might even pick it for number one. I don't know. We love Ohana. I love Ohana breakfast. Ohana dinner is my favorite meal on Disney property, which we're going to do another episode about food. So I'm not getting into that. But that's a perk to the Poly. We love Ohana. We
Hmm.
love the pool area. The pool area at the Poly, like if we were ranking on pools alone, the Poly, I mean, it probably has the best or one of
Yes.
the best. I think
Hmm.
my number two, I ranked number two because of the pool too. So you'll see that in a minute. But the Poly is so crowded all the time because people
I'll
are
give you
there.
that.
Ohana is there. Kona Cafe is there. They used to do the luau, and that brought in a lot of people. but people just want to come see. Like all the monorail resorts are crowded because people just want to see them. Like they're
Hmm.
probably staying at Pop Century or All Stars. They want to feel bougie. They want to come over there. Like it's just really, really, really crowded. I don't, that's the reason why the Poly is not in first or second place for me. I love the Poly and I love staying there. It's just the crowd that is there.
Yeah,
That's why it's number three for me, honestly.
I can see that. My number two is I'm going to say yacht club over beach club. Now it's like beach club, yacht club, um, boardwalk. I think Swan and Dolphin is also on that lake, right?
Yes. Swan and
Um,
Dolphin is right beside Boardwalk, sorry.
I'm going to tell you why I didn't pick beach club, which is right beside the yacht club, because the yacht club is quieter. So the real difference is the theming of the lobby, your room. I think at Beach Club you have a shorter walk to Epcot,
Mhm.
but Beach Club is extremely crowded in the lobby and
It
just in
is.
general. The Yacht Club is a lot more quiet. That's the only reason why that I picked that one. They share the very same pool and it's amazing. They have the lazy river, the large slide. I mean, they have multiple slides. A sandy bottom area that has beach toys out there. You can see the Epcot fireworks from some rooms at the yacht club, but it's not that hard to go outside to see them.
No,
I mean,
it's not.
we just walked right outside. So that's why I'm putting that at number two.
You also can ride the boat there to Epcot. If you don't want to walk, you can ride the boat, but you can also ride the boat to Hollywood Studios too.
Yes. I felt like the boat was actually closer to the yacht club than the beach club, but the
Hmm.
walk over, also if you want to walk and get on the Skyliner from
Yes.
any of those resorts, you can.
Yep.
I I loved the vibe there. I thought it was amazing. I was very shocked at how much I liked it and liked it more than Beach Club. But like I said, I think that was the main reason why. It's just it was a little quieter.
This is hysterical because I didn't know. I honestly, I expected your number two to be Animal Kingdom Lodge. That's really what I felt like you were going to pick because I know you like that. You like that more than I do. Animal Kingdom Lodge would probably be, I was going to say bottom for me, but I think Saratoga would probably be bottom. I might bump Animal Kingdom up over that one time, but my number two is Beach Club. And I chose Beach Club because of the pool, which,
Hmm.
like she said, it shares a pool with Yacht Club, so it's the same pool. But I like Beach Club better than Yacht Club. Yacht is
Okay.
quieter and more low key. But when we stay Beach Club, we stay like the DVC side of it. That,
Yeah.
like that back wing that's just for DVC, it is quieter. And when we go, like if we're going to the pool or we're going to Beaches and Cream, which is probably my number two favorite restaurant on property, um, when we go there, we don't go through the lobby. We walk outside, like that outside path. So
Yeah.
crowded lobby, it doesn't really matter to me because I rarely am in the lobby at Beach Club. So Beach Club was my number two. The sand bottom pool, like she said, they have a kiddie pool that's sand with the sand toys, but they actually have a full pool. Well, the lazy river, I think, is sand bottom too.
It is.
Um,
Yes.
and it's salt water, but like, I don't know. That's just really neat to me. That's the first resort that I ever stayed at. Well, actually the only resort I've ever stayed at that had a sand bottom pool. And that's
Hmm.
really, really cool. Their pool area, I mean, again, like I'm ranking that just like the Poly, like their pool area, I
Hmm.
would say that's tied for number one as far as pools,
Yes.
those two. Like if you're going to Disney and you're not worried about going to the parks, like you're going to schedule pool days into your vacation, I would highly recommend either Beach Club or the Poly. And both of those, you have to scan your Magic Band or your room key to prove that you are a guest there. Not all resorts make you prove it, but those two do because people try to break in all the time. And rightfully so because they are amazing. So
Yeah. You
that's my
forgot to
opinion.
mention that we went to that character breakfast at the beach club, and it was amazing. We can talk about that at a later time, but
I did. You're right. So yeah,
yes.
because you stayed in yacht club, we had rooms in beach club, and
Hmm.
we did the Cape May character breakfast. And was it your first time too?
Yeah, yeah. I was the one that was like, let's do it. And
Yeah.
it wasn't hard to twist her arm. She was like, sure, let's go for it. I think you said you actually forgot it was there.
I'm never gonna turn down a Mickey waffle. I'm never like it doesn't take much to convince me to do anything that involves food at Disney World. So, but yeah, we'll talk about that in a food episode. But I forgot about that. And that
Yes.
definitely would be a perk to beach or yacht. I mean, you can walk over,
Yeah.
I mean,
Hmm.
quick walk. So, anyways, there's my number two.
So my number one, like she said, is the Poly. That's our home resort. So if you are a DVC member or if you've sat through one of the little, what would you call it? Where they pitch the idea to you and they try to get you to buy it. A lot of people just go to get
Presentation.
yeah, there you go, presentation. People will go just to get those free fast passes.
Oh, we went one time and got a $50 gift card.
Oh, I don't think ever gave us a gift card. They probably thought we were too far in. Well, we went and that was why Derek said, he's like, let's just go. Let's get the fast pass. By the time we left there, he had signed the contract. They had convinced him. And I think they convinced him because we didn't really know we were not planning on going to the presentation or even entertaining the thought of buying it. But when we knew that they were selling the Poly, then that's what really got him because that's our favorite resort. Like she said, the pool is amazing. Amazing. I actually prefer it over Beach Club pool. The little splash area that the kids have is awesome.
Hmm.
Um, you can get a Dole Whip there. You cannot
Hmm.
get a Dole Whip at any other Disney resort except the Poly.
I
You can
forgot
see,
about that. I should have added that into mine too because Dole Whip's my favorite Disney snack.
yes, you can see the water pageant from there. That was my grandmother's favorite thing about staying at the Poly is watching that little water parade. That is amazing. I love sitting on the beach and watching the fireworks there too. It's
Hmm.
magical there. We've spent a New Year's there. We've spent um
You've done Thanksgiving there too, haven't
yeah,
you?
Thanksgiving. There's been so many holidays that we've have spent at the Poly. I love the Kona Cafe. That's another like underdog that people really don't know about. The Kona Cafe is awesome. I am so excited to try the tower. I want
I
to go
am
to
too.
that. I can't think of the name of the new restaurant that they have, but it's kind of like they have this, I don't know, how would you explain that water situation that they have like behind the booths?
I
Have you seen the
honestly,
pictures?
no, I haven't.
It looks awesome. It kind of reminded me of this restaurant that we looked at going to in Hawaii, and that's kind of how it was. They had like these booths, and then like right behind the booths was like almost like a waterfall type
Hmm.
feature. I think it's going to be awesome, but there's just something about the music, the gardens,
Hmm.
just all of it. I don't think you can beat it. It is very crowded, but I think it's amazing. I will say my honorable mention is Animal Kingdom Lodge. That's where I almost had that as number three, but I had to go with Coronado Springs. And I think part of it too was that we did honeymoon at the Coronado Springs. So it probably has special memories for me.
Yeah.
But the Animal Kingdom Lodge, I know Shelby is not, she's not the biggest fan of it. She thinks it's far. I don't think you even really like any of the dining there, do you?
Their quick service is great, but we've never done any of the sit down restaurants there. I'm just not a fan of Animal Kingdom Lodge. I mean, it's really cool to wake up and see a giraffe outside your balcony. Like, I mean, it's cool. I'm not gonna turn down it. If somebody said, let's go to Animal Kingdom Lodge, I'm okay, I'm on board, but it's not my number. I mean, it's not my top pick.
Yeah, so when people ask me where they should stay, I actually prefer Kidani Village, and I know that people don't like it. They want to stay at the Jumbo House because it's closer
Hmm.
to the main lobby. But if you stay at the Kidani House or the Kidani Village, that downstairs little quick service, the windows are looking out at the savannah.
Yes.
Every single time we have ever ate there, there's all kinds of animals that are right there. Mateo loved it the last time that we did it.
Hmm.
And I think the Kidani Village pool, again, here I come in with the pool. I think it's amazing. They have
Hmm.
like a little, I don't know what you call it, like a playground over there for the kids, but it's like in the water. I mean, there's water features.
playground meets splash pad.
Yes, that's a good way to describe it. So that was my honorable mention, but I think if you're like, I have one trip, I've saved up all this money, I'm gonna splurge on a deluxe, to me, it's Polly. It's gonna be Polly for me every time. And I know exactly what Shelby's is gonna be.
My number one, like Stephanie, we are also DVC members, and my home resort is the Grand Floridian. So number one for me is and will always be the Grand Floridian. I love, love, love walking through those doors in the lobby the first time that we went and they said welcome home, which they say that at any DVC resort that you go to. When you walk in the lobby, the cast members say welcome home. It doesn't matter if you're a member, it doesn't matter if that's your home resort. That's just something that they say. That's the Disney quote at the DVC resorts. But the first time that we went back and stayed as members using our DVC to stay at the Floridian, and they said welcome home, I literally burst into tears. I was just like, that's the best thing I've ever heard. Thank you. But that, I mean, okay, let's be real. Uncle Jesse played the piano and sang to Aunt Becky in the lobby of the Grand Floridian on Full House. How
That's
can you
so funny that you
not?
remember this.
Well, Taylor is obsessed with Full House, so we watch it all the time. But how can you not love the Floridian? The Floridian did not even make any of the three of your list, and I'm so disappointed in you. This is going to be a heated debate. But so the Floridian is also a monorail resort. It's right beside the Poly. I mean, they're next door neighbors. You can see Magic Kingdom from the Floridian. There is nothing, nothing that compares to the feeling you get when you walk in to that Grand Floridian lobby. It just feels so luxurious, and I don't know. I love it. I love it. I love everything about the Floridian. Now, the pool is not comparable at all to the Poly or Beach Club or even Animal Kingdom Lodge. It's nothing but a big pool with a water slide. They do have a little kid splash area with little kid water slides over on the
Mm-hmm.
side.
Mm-hmm.
So they do have like a really good pool. I mean, you can do the poolside cabana there. You can't do that at the Poly, Steph. You can't.
That's true.
So, well, you can. The only Walt Disney World resorts that you can do it are Contemporary, Floridian, and Beach Club. Now, that poolside cabana, that was one of your highs of 2024 in the last
It was.
episode or
It's
two
true.
episodes ago.
It's true.
And the Floridian did not even make your top three.
You know that the Floridian it does not have my heart.
I
Like
don't know how.
it's just not my go-to. I know. I don't know what I don't love about it, but let's say one of my favorite at the end of this episode, we always talk about highs and lows, and we're going to talk about our favorite moment at a Disney resort and our least favorite moment. And the most memorable moment was at the Grand Floridian. And it's something that you've never heard. I've never told you the story.
Well,
It still didn't make my list.
I'm like about to sweat in here. I'm just really upset at you. You have no heart. That's why the Floridian's not in your heart.
Well, let's just say, because I was even thinking, like, I know that you guys really loved Bay Lake, and see, that's also not my vibe.
Wait a minute. We liked it. It was just Jordan and I. It was before we had Taylor. So it's a very small room. It's fine for two adults. But we had theme park view. So we could sit there on the balcony, and they actually pipe the music in for the fireworks there. We've had theme park view rooms at the Floridian, and they do not pipe in the music. Oh, we've actually had theme park at the Poly also, and they don't have the music. You can see the fireworks, and it's great. But at Bay Lake, they actually pipe in the music, and that just makes it more
I can see
magical,
that.
I guess. So I did like Bay Lake, but I mean, it didn't even make my top three, and it's not even going to be my honorable mention. So I wouldn't say that we loved it, but I just am really upset at you right now about the Floridian.
Well, I was already thinking if she does her honorable mention as the what is it, the campgrounds, I'm gonna scream.
It's not. It's
Okay.
not. So, okay, back to the Floridian.
Have you mentioned that they have a spa?
No, I have not. And how did I forget that? Because I'm the queen of spas. They do. They also have the spa, and it's not open right now at the time of recording this, but they also have the Bippity Boppity Boutique for the girls, for the little
Mm-hmm.
kids, 3 to 12.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you can ride the monorail. You don't have to ride a bus to Magic Kingdom or Epcot. You have the monorail. You have the
Mm-hmm.
dining. You have the ability to watch the Magic Kingdom fireworks. And you can say that you've stayed where John Stamos recorded in the lobby singing to Aunt Becky. So my
Well,
honorable mention, it's not the campground.
okay.
This
Phew.
might surprise you because I don't know that I've ever really told you that we actually like this. Are you ready?
Yes.
Port Orleans French Quarter.
Okay. I was like, that's not completely shocking because I remember that used to be really your jam back in the day.
Well, here's why. Those Mickey beignets, oh my gosh, they are amazing. And you get them hot right there in the lobby. They're Mickey shaped. So anything Mickey shaped obviously already tastes better. But they have that powdered sugar on them, and you can get this caramel sauce to dip them in. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my goodness. I mean, we even went to New Orleans before a Disney cruise and tried the real beignet, and I would take
Uh-huh.
those Mickey beignets any day of the week over the real deal.
It's funny to me because you said beach club and then beaches and cream and then this
I
one.
know. I told you it's food. It's we go on vacation to eat. So, okay. But that's not the only thing. I
Okay.
love so Port Orleans Riverside, you can walk there from French Quarter. But
Mm-hmm.
Riverside, just like Coronado Springs, is very spread out. It's very big. But French Quarter only has like 2 or 3 buildings and they're just right there. It's really compact. It doesn't matter where your room is. You're not walking very far to get to the pool. You're not walking
Mm-hmm.
far to get to the like food court area. You're not walking far to the bus, which they do not have alternate transportation to the parks. You have to take a bus. So that's a con. But the pool, Taylor is obsessed with their pool. Now,
Remember that.
she loves like the Floridian, they have just like one of those big, just a standard resort pool with a slide that goes down in it. But they have like the kiddie area splash pad with the water slides. It's bigger than the one at the Floridian. It's not as big as the Polynesian. But if you're
Mm-hmm.
wanting like a budget friendly, but still a really good pool,
Mm-hmm.
Port Orleans French Quarter is my pick for moderate. Any of the moderate or value, that's the one I'm going with. And I quote that for a lot of my clients.
Yeah. So I actually stayed there when it was called Dixie Landings. I don't know if you ever remember that.
I do not remember that at all.
Yeah, that was way back in the day. I was
That
little.
that was
And it was,
probably before my time since you're so much older than me.
I'm only like a couple of years older, but I remember staying there. So I'm going to go into it. The high highs and the low lows. And I'm going to start out with the lows. And you're going to be like, oh, I remember this trip. The
I
worst
think I
trip. And
already know what you're going to
I will
say.
not go back to this resort because of it. And I mentioned it. Art of Animation will not go back there. Why? Because that's the first place we ever experienced the norovirus. And if you know, you know. I remember at
Mhm.
one point I looked over and I thought Derek was throwing up on the floor. And I didn't know that he had brought a garbage can over. I said, are you throwing up on the floor? He's like, no, in a garbage can.
Oh my
But
goodness.
it was so bad though.
This
So
trip though, that trip wasn't Harper like 2?
she was 18 months maybe.
That's what
No,
I was thinking.
she
Like she
might have
was
been
a
two.
baby, right? Like she was
Hmm.
little. So this was a long time ago.
Yeah. So we had went to we had gotten there, we spent a day at the resort and went to downtown Disney. We spent one day at Hollywood Studios and then that was it. Then we got sick and then we came home early. And it was an awful trip. So I don't know what it is about that memory. I can't stay at Shelby has mentioned it many times because they have cars there and Mateo is obsessed with cars. I cannot do it. I cannot bring myself to do it. But for the best memory at a Disney resort, again, I don't think I've ever told you this before. So I was trying to think of how old I would have been. I know that Nathan was born, my little brother. So I was about 6 when he was born, and I was thinking he was a baby. I was between 6 and 7, and my grandmother who I talk about a lot, she decided that she was going to take us to the Grand Floridian. Now, I remember I said in the first episode, we were raised poor. So this was like, I don't know. We thought it was like winning the lottery when we
Hmm.
went to this resort. And I just remember that we got in there, we had a monorail view. Now, okay, a lot of people would have got in there and complained because you could hear the monorail, constantly, and it's loud. No. She hyped that up like, we're going to see the monorail, like going by. So we would sit there. I mean, think we're like 6 and 7. We'd sit there. Oh, the monorail went by. We were so excited. They had those plush robes. You know what I'm talking about in the room.
Hmm.
Oh, we thought we were so fancy in there. So
This is
that,
like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone when he goes to the plaza. Like that's
yes.
what I'm picturing right now.
That's exactly what it was like. It was like these, like, well, I'll say for me and my sister, it was like these two little rednecks, like in this like super fancy hotel, you know. And okay, let me tell the story. So we were so excited. It was the first night, and and my grandmother kept saying, "Girls, be quiet. Girls, be quiet." We were giggling. It was me and my sister and my cousin, Erica. She was raised really close to us because she was just like 2 years older than me. So she had brought us three girls. So it was like a girls' trip too. So here we're laying, and she's like, "Girls, please be quiet." And then it finally got quiet, and then all of a sudden my granddad goes, "I wonder how many celebrities have stayed here before." He was just, we all just busted out laughing. But in his mind, like, well, I guess in everybody's mind, it was like so fancy that we were all so excited. It was so funny. But, anyways, that is the best memory I have in a Disney resort. And I think it's because at that time we couldn't afford to stay in a deluxe resort.
I have a bone to pick with you. The Grand Floridian is in your highest Disney memory, and you still did not put it in your top three or honorable mention.
I told you it's not the it's just very fancy, but it's not, I don't know how to explain it. I like a little culture. How about that? We'll say that.
Okay. I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna drop it now, but I'm not gonna forget. The next time
Well,
I pay for that poolside cabana at the Floridian, you are not invited.
it's kind of like you said, I wouldn't turn down a trip to Animal Kingdom. I
Yeah,
wouldn't turn
no,
down a trip there,
yeah,
but it's very fancy to me, is what I always tell people.
it
There's no
is.
real like theming. I mean, there is a
No,
theme, but I really like like I said, the culture. Now we'll say Derek's like his like least favorite is Wilderness Lodge. He's like, if I want that, I can go to the Smokies. So theming is a real thing for us. I don't know what it is.
yeah, I really I struggled with it. I've been thinking about this for a week, and I've been trying to have Jordan help me too to come up with something. But I think ultimately, probably the worst experience that I had before I was a travel agent, somebody booked a trip for us, and we went down to Disney. Um, it was the entire family. Me and George, I think it was the year we got married. His mom and dad, his sister and her husband and kids, like we're all going down, and we think that we have the resort, these tickets, the dining plan, and because that's what had been paid for, that's what we booked. We get down there, we check in at the lobby, we have a room, we have no tickets, we have no dining plan. That was like a punch to the gut because we've paid all this money, but where is it? Like, okay. So we're scrambling. Look, so I believe Jordan and I had annual passes that year, I think. So we didn't have to have tickets, but they all did. So we went
Mm.
on to the parks and was like, well, we'll just figure out the dining plan later, whatever. It was a big pickle. It was a really weird, awkward, sad situation. So that was my low point.
I honestly, I can't really remember that. But I think that's before we talked a lot. I think that was just when we were talking about like Duggars and,
Yeah.
you know.
That was before our friendship became like a sisterhood.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
Because
was
I
before
remember,
we joined each other's families.
I don't remember that trip at all. Like all of what you were just saying, like my eyes were huge because I'm like, oh, like I don't remember this.
Well, I'll have to go into more details with you later, not on the podcast, but my top moment, I have so many top moments. I cannot like I was going back and forth between like Taylor's first trip, um, the trip when I went to celebrate the end of chemo, I don't know. I have a lot of top moments, but I think the number one for me. So, fun fact that I don't think I've ever told this on the podcast. People that know me or have follow me on Instagram probably know this, but
Mhm.
Jordan proposed to me at Disney World in front of Cinderella's castle at the Cinderella wishing well. He surprised me. We were on a girls' trip. He came, and I'll have to tell this story one day. So that was like a really magical proposal.
Mhm.
So we stayed to finish out our trip, and he was still there. So we were going to do like some engagement pictures. And we went over to the Boardwalk Resort, like the Boardwalk area, to do some pictures. And I had my hair all fixed up. We were dressed up like to take pictures. I mean, nothing fancy because I didn't know he was coming to propose, so I didn't have like engagement picture clothes with me. I just kind of made do with what I had. So we go into the boardwalk, and this little boy, he had to have been like maybe 4 or 5 when I walked in, like which my mom's best friend was was with us too, and so she's holding my camera, and at that point like I had a photography business, so it's like a big professional camera, so it looked like we are somebody, like we're walking in with this camera equipment. And the little boy, he looks up and he looks at his mom and he says, "Mom, which Disney princess is that?" And I felt so beautiful in that moment. Like that, I was just like, he was mistaking me for a Disney princess. Like what? I mean, and it was not, I mean, I was not dressed like a Disney princess by any means, but just, I mean, I think it was just the situation because we're coming in with
Yeah.
this camera and all that. But that to me, like just that, I mean, that trip was magical anyways because Jordan proposed at Disney World. And I don't know, that was just like the cherry on top. And we still talk about that when we go to Boardwalk. We still talk about it. So I think that's number one for me.
Well, let's just say that when we talked about that, we are travel agents. We don't and see we don't bring it up. We said in the first one that we're not going to bring it up. If you want to book one of these resorts, you could reach out to us. But this might be the closest that we ever get to quote quote selling you a trip.
Yeah. We're neither one of us are salesmen like by nature. We're
No.
not pushy. We'll tell you what you want to know. I'll send you a quote. I'm not like no pressure. I don't care, book or not. I mean, I have a full-time job. This is like my side gig. So I don't push trips because I'm not doing it to make money. I just do it because I like it.
Well, I was going to say when we were talking about like um, best moments, we are going to I think we are going to do an episode where we're going to call it
We listen and we don't judge.
yes, yes. And Shelby's going to be judging me hardcore for the the Grand Floridian again in that episode.
We're not bringing that up anymore, okay? It's in the past.
But what I was going to say is when we bring up that um that we listen and we don't judge, we're going to talk about our favorite like Disney moment of all time. We're going to try to bring
Oh,
bring up our
Lord. You didn't
yes.
tell me that.
Yes. Yes. That's where I'm going to put that in there. And I have one in there that a story that I've never told you before.
Well,
So.
shoot, I've got to start racking my brain now for that. The resort one was hard enough because we've had so many amazing memories at Disney. That's why we keep going back. I mean,
I know.
like
I
we
know.
make magical memories that we remember every single trip that we go on. I mean, I have
Yeah,
memories from every trip. It was so hard to pick one.
I know. It was. And really, you could stay at any of these resorts. You could even stay at the All Stars. You could stay at Art of Animation, even though it has terrible memories for me. You'll
Take a
still have a
puke
good
bucket. Take a
you'll
puke bucket if you want to stay there.
you'll still have a good memories. But I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this episode. You want to hit them with the outro?
Yes, I also would like to say that we have so many more listeners than I ever thought we would have. And I just want to thank everybody for coming back to us every week.
We really don't know what you see in us.
I mean, we still laugh that people want to hear us, but I mean, we're glad that you do.
Yeah.
We keep coming back. So you keep coming back and we'll keep coming back. How about that?
How about we'll keep going on trips?
Yeah, perfect. If you're going to make us, if you want us to talk about vacations, if you're going to make us,
Yeah.
we'll just keep traveling. Okay. So may your flights be on time and your luggage never lost. But if not, that's where the fun begins.
Bye.
Bye.
Pack your dreams, grab your bag. Adventures call at Zig and Zag. From castles tall to ocean waves, magic made for wanderers brave. Theme parks light up the night, starry-eyed in sheer delight. Board the ships, set sail and see endless tales and fantasy. Chaos and carry-ons, let's go. Disney dreams in tow, you know. Every flight and every ride, join the journey, come inside. From Mickey ears to Dole Whip tree, pixie dust beneath our feet. Through the lands and sea we roam, feel the wonder, feel at home. From rope drop to the fireworks show, lose yourself in the joyful glow. Cruising waters, feeling free, every twist's a memory. Chaos and carry-ons, let's go. Disney dreams in tow, you know. Every flight and every ride, join the journey, come inside.